Hello everybody and welcome back to the CVRcade talk show. We do this every Wednesday and guess what? It is a Wednesday, so we are back with more. My name is Jesper Anker and as always, I'm joined by Victor Lundqvist and Beth York. How are you two doing today?
Great.
Good.
Great. Got my coffee,
Yep.
ready to go.
See, I've got this as well. The little espresso.
I have my
Beth,
water.
Beth, I want to swap with you. I need to go out and buy a filter coffee machine. Like, I want to go back. Like, I've been to a filter coffee. Now I have all these Nespresso capsules. They're amazing, but I kind of want to go back. Like, it's nice to have the option, but...
It is. I got a little cappuccino maker now, so I froth up my own milk, chocolate milk, so I make a little mochaccino. It's like I'm being spoiled, but I don't have to pay $8 at Starbucks.
Exactly.
So I'm happy.
That was the main selling point for me too, is like I can either go to Costa and get what I want for like £2.50, £3, or like $4, or I can buy this and make it on my own. And it's not like Victor and I go anywhere. We just work all day, and then Victor judges me when I have my second coffee.
Get back to the studio.
No, so
True.
there's been a few developments happening in CVRcade over the last week. I think first of all, the thing I woke up to when I woke up this morning was like Frank posted an update that Cade Cadet progress is now available to see in the game. Vic, could you share some more information?
Well, now in the newest update of CVRcade, you can see like your license. So think about it kind of like your racing license outside. You kind of have like your name, what like category you are. Like for example, in the UK, it's like category 4, 5, etc. And yeah, it just gives you. Sorry.
Nothing.
Oh, I just heard a noise. It's fine. I'll keep
Sorry, my
going.
bad.
So it's. Oh, it's okay. So yeah, it's kind of like a license, and it gives you like. I opened up my game this morning, and it gave me like you are a cadet, basically telling you that we don't really have the necessary data to like properly equalize you. So what you need to do is ride either like replays or events, and I think this is really good for new players or new riders, I should say. Because the issue with like joining a race and then just getting absolutely spat, like going backwards, not going anywhere, and you're like, what am I doing? I'm putting like full effort here and I'm going nowhere. This game is bad, and then they just leave. But now with the new update, you get a bit of understanding that, okay, I need to ride more. The system needs to learn who I am, and then I can enjoy the full experience. So I really like it.
It's clever because it goes from 0 to 100% as well, and it tells you exactly when you come in. Like, it is such an important onboarding feature because it's the first thing you see if you take the time to read it. Because like, CVRcade is an events like driven platform. Like, you don't just get on and ride on your own unless you are doing a replay or doing some track building testing or what it is. Mainly it's for, you know, practicing for the World Cup or actually riding the World Cup. But to have this in is amazing. But also, Beth, we saw numbers were added yesterday. Everyone rocked the Lionel Messi number. We saw the little decal on the side. What did you make of that?
Well, I was watching that come to play, and we're like, he's a number 10 and she's a number 10. So, and then Ben is posting like, does that mean the level of equalization? So sometimes what will happen is things will sneak into the game and plugged in, I don't know if my audio just messed up there. Even as they're plugged in, just like completely are like, oh wow, look at that's new. And then overnight we wake up to a post that Frank is saying this is in, and we know certain things are coming. And then when they come, so I was like, yes, because again, it's that evolution of like, we're testing the gameplay. Then the new tracks are coming, and now this new way to educate new users as they're being onboarded with the licenses, the quick start menu. So all of these things are getting jammed in, and it's like we're having a hard time keeping up with all of the advances over the last couple
This is
weeks.
great.
Yeah.
That's the good feeling.
I love that everybody yesterday was a 10 out of 10. I think that was the epitome. Everyone came in like, you are perfect. We're going to give you a 10. The decal.
You get a 10. You get a 10.
It's like Oprah Winfrey out here going, everybody's a 10. You get a 10. Good to see. I like the addition. I think I read Mutt KG in the chat say that eventually you'll be able to select your own number. And we're going to see some fun. Like, I can't wait to see what number Niels Heldens picks, because that man, whatever he's going to come up with, is going to be some hilarious number that has some hilarious reference to something that happened on any given day at a specific time. So giving that sort of like poetic freedom to people to do what they want, to like express their, personality. I love it. I think we're now tasked with educating people what those badges mean, though, Beth, because you and I as commentators, you see that badge. I'm not even sure you and I knew what badge meant what yesterday.
Well, right, and I think that when you come on and you're not equalized, as Vic was saying, it's sort of like, well, what do these levels mean? I thought we were all equalized, and there's a level of confidence that the system has to have in your effort, and that's a combination of your heart rate being read. So if you don't wear your heart rate monitor, the system is going to have a little less confidence in you. So coming in as a CADE cadet, you have to really put those efforts in, and I think we're saying like about 2 omniums if you really race them hard. I don't know if that's a magic number or not. It really can depend on basically how much you're pushing yourself and how much you're putting yourself to the max effort there. But it's all part of getting equalized and having fun and having the system have a confidence in you. And it's also, people might not realize, since it's reading your power source, it's also associating a curve with that particular power source. So if one day you ride with your trainer and the next day you ride with your power pedals, you're not helping the system figure out, because now the system is going, oh, but on this system your curve is something different, right? So, and that's the beauty of how this equalization works, is it actually knows who you are based on your power source.
It's going to be fun to watch these new people, because we saw Wim Moysen get in. We saw Guillermo last week get in. We saw Phil Lovett, who was at 205 equalized heart rate for like an entire omnium yesterday. I spoke to him after the fact, and he loved it. We were going to have him on the stream, but first time getting on a VMix call can sometimes be a bit difficult. But Phil, amazing. Wim, I saw you just joined CVRcade Riders, so you're interested in more. But, I mean, guys, this is the time. This is it. Like, Vic and I are pretty much in charge of the marketing efforts here of CVRcade, both the emails you see going out, the Facebook ads, etc. And the reception recently to some of the Facebook ads have been unreal. Like, guys, we've gained 2,000 followers in like 3 days, 4 days. Like, we're at 6,000 something now. Like, some of the ads have 1,000 reactions on them. People are going to get in. People are going to get riding. And like, all the hard work is going to start to pay off now. Like, the next season of the World Cup is coming up with teams. Vic, as somebody who, like me, spends a lot of time on the ads and this, are you excited about this influx of people downloading, installing, and registering?
Yes. I mean, who isn't? That is a bit of a silly question. I think we all want to see more people. And the license thing that was added just now was really a big step up, because that was one of my concerns in the past, is like, for new people, they don't know. So that was really good. But yeah, I think what we're all waiting for is that 100-man like Cityscape New York race. And like, we need more people for that to happen. And I think we can safely say that the best zone of the week is most likely K, at least for me, just because there's like 25, 30 people in now. And you see the dynamics of the pack and everything, and it's just so much fun, and it really shows all the physics of CVRcade, which is what we all want to see and be on display. So more people, that's all we want. And I think with this marketing, what we're doing is we're seeing loads of people downloading the game. Now we just need them to install and then get riding, joining the community. I mean, CVRcade Riders is the best place to be if you're not in there already, to join the community and feel like you're part of this amazing community. So yeah, more people is what we want.
Beth, do you think it's a silly question?
Well, I mean, listen, I really
That's a yes,
think
Vic.
that no, we need to see what that looks like to have that 100-person race on Cityscape. And I forget what race that I was in, and there were so many people, and that first 10 seconds became even more important, right? Because you're trying to, the first 10 seconds of any race, if you're just listening and you're kind of not sure what I'm talking about, quantum shift is on for the first 10 seconds, and you can phase through other riders for just that time. And so that jockeying for position, I think, will be a very interesting thing that happens. It already happens now, but with all the more riders and in your lane position is going to be even more critical. But having these new riders come on, knowing where they stand, the quick start menu is great too, because I've done a lot of the how-to videos, and like a lot of things were buried in the menu, and that quick start menu when you first come on now. So if you haven't come on in the game in a while and you're coming onto the game, it's not just the license that is different. It's this menu that's been in the last 2 weeks that has been refined, and it pulls up the kind of the key parts of the UI that you're probably going to use. It pulls up the events. It allows you to select your devices. It allows you to see your curve. It allows you to see your license now. It allows you to customize the UI in just that one panel. So it takes like sort of the most used features and functions and puts them up front for the user. I think that's going to help get all of these new people on and get them over the hump, because I think in the past people would get on, they'd be like, what do I do? All right, so I can watch a video, but I don't want to watch a 10-minute video. That's too long. Like, I just want to I want to come in. So that's the evolution too that we're seeing, is like, we got the gameplay right. We're getting the graphics better. And now we're helping in the UI get people on to understand, like, oh, here's the buffet. What would I like? Oh, I'd like a little shrimp cocktail, and I'd like a little bit of the wieners on a toothpick. You know what I mean? So it's just sort of like people are able to kind of see.
I think what's happening is also that we have like a snowball effect. Like, you have the mountain, now it's pushed, now it's gaining momentum, it's getting bigger and bigger, but it's gonna take a while. But we have like a mountain with 2 separate snowballs on it. We have the marketing right now that's getting down, and then we have a newly introduced snowball called Tam Burns. This guy has like an effect called the Burns effect, which I have been privileged to see it. Like, this is a man I highly respect and really love to death, because I've known this guy since he was in charge of the Friday Criterium when I first rode Zwift ever. This was the guy who put on the races for Season D riders, and that's how I got to know him and his teammates. Now, he's just fed up. Like, for anyone following the Zwift Pro-Am racing going on, his team is under a bit of scrutiny. There's some real questionable decisions happening, and I think Tam is just done. And to see Tam now go, right, CVR, let's do this. Let's just do this. I'm enjoying it. He set up a team chat for Team Cryo-Gen on CVR. He's now in CVRcade Riders. He even built his own little handlebar controller to ride on CVRcade. So what he brings to the table now is something that everyone should look at, because this is like OG Swift days, when the community is not very large, when it comes down to the individuals to bring people together as a collective to get on. You can do all this marketing, you can do what Swift is doing with Matthew, with G, or what we're doing with, this game is made fun or makes fitness getting fun. But people like Moti, like Tam, they can just get people to follow them wherever they go. And I think watching those 2 snowballs at the side of each other, I think Tam, like, Vic, you had the pleasure of also hearing a bit of my conversation with Tam the other day. This man is so enthusiastic, and he just commits to something he feels passionate about.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely does. And I think that's what this community needs. I mean, you mentioned Modi, these people that just bring all these people that just try it, but they're like, come join Cognition, come join, like, we can have fun. And you see with like Daniel, Luis, and like, for example, other riders as well, but that's just 2 of them. He just makes them stick around, and they're loving the platform. So I think more of those people is just what we need. Because if Tam, for example, can bring in his team, now I have no idea how big it actually is, but if he can bring his team into the game and they like it, then they will bring their friends, and that's the snowball effect we're talking about. So yeah, you definitely need just someone to that hump is so difficult to get over in the beginning, and I feel if you're all alone, you're definitely more likely to quit. But if you have someone there that can tell you what to do and how to do it, whatever, maybe just do like a random ride on a course or anything like that, just to make you understand the game, that is definitely what we need. So I am really excited to see like this progress with Tam and maybe other teams as well who will join the CVRcade, like the new league that's coming up. So yeah.
Beth, you had the opportunity as well to say hi to Tam and Garry.
Yeah, I just want to do this for Tam here. Yes, I do wear glasses.
We swap roles. You said last time I have the ability to make you laugh when you have coffee. That's it. We're even. Scores are even. Oh God, Tam,
well, no,
wherever you're watching this, control yourself, mate.
Yes, I'm the approachable one here. No, I am so excited because like you, Jesper, I have a history with Tam. Racing with him on Zwift and his team, and I think that the hump that.
Oh, I think
that
the
he's
audio may
talking
have just
about-
gone down a tiny bit there on your side, Beth.
Yeah,
Oh,
it did.
are we back?
I think so. Try again.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yes.
think I've had the there we go. I've had the opportunity to know and race with Tam and his teammates in some of the events that he's organized on Zwift. And I mean, I love Tam. His enthusiasm is infectious. He's passionate, and all of those things are exactly what we find within the CVR rider community. So he's going to find that a lot of people are really going to embrace that enthusiasm and foster it. And I think when someone like Tam goes in there and says, "Oh wait, you mean I can just make an event right now for my team to go ride the schedule I want? Oh wait, I can do a class and get a workout in, and oh wait, oh my God, I can do a replay of yesterday's race."
Yeah.
Like once he understands all of the potential, not just sort of getting there and going, "Hey, that was kind of fun. I can change lanes and I can draft." And I think it's going to even blow his mind further. It's going to feed his fuel, his fire. The team's going to see the opportunity. And there's just going to be more teams. And there's only I keep saying this, there's only so many teams that are racing in the next league. So these guys got to get organized. And Tam, if you're listening, and I hope you are, just pick a time. I'll give you a tour. I will take you through the UI. We'll have our own little rise and rip with your teammates, and I don't care if it's 2 a.m. We'll make it happen. So we'll have a good time.
You have not lived until you've heard Tam Burns say, "Can you hear me?" at the top of the lungs from his phone call. You have not lived until you've been through that. So Tam, love you. Thank you for getting on the platform, man. It was about time. And same thing to Garry. Thank you for getting back on. But changing it all, switching the view. Beth, we had a bit of news on the classes last week. What are the news on the classes this week?
Yeah, well, the suggestion box continues to be open. It's hard to believe that it's just been under just about 9 days that the latest class features have been pushed forward. Last Friday, we did an experiment with Rise and Rip. We took it out of the group ride format and put it into the class format. We ended up in multiple instances. So that's one of the fixes that they're doing, where the events they're not private, but just a little tweak that they need to do. So we'll try that again probably on Friday. But you can ride the classes right now, and you can go in and you can create your own class, and really thinking about making it as a workout, right? Like, what if you want to do, a tempo workout and not think about the watts and just match the pace spot. And it was funny because Allison Kubota posted, she's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I get it. There's a pace spot that rides a predetermined zone and you chase it. That's brilliant." And I'm like, "Thank you, Allison. Thank you." Because it's something that doesn't exist anywhere. And the potential is really huge. And you can tell as my voice gets higher and louder, and I get so enthusiastic about it because, we created a group chat. If anyone wants in on that, it's an inclusive group. I'm keeping a running list. So if you did contribute ideas, remember it's been 9 days. There's some core features that need to be adjusted to get us all in the same instance. They're working on that. It's not going to take too much longer. And hopefully we'll be able to try again on Friday. But go out and ride it and give me feedback. One feedback was, can we pause a workout? One feedback was, can you import files? And those things are on the list, but we have to get the core stuff right first. So if the suggestion box starts to get full, I'm going to keep a list. I'm listening to everything that people are saying. Keep it coming. Let's not let the enthusiasm stall out on this, because I think it's going to be another core part of the platform, particularly as as more people get onboarded. These classes aren't just about doing a workout. They're about learning the platform, about race simulation, about figuring out the dynamics. So it's a different way to look at things, and it's not Peloton. It's not Trainer Road. It's not Sufferfast. It's sort of like if you put all those things in a blender and then add a pace spot and make it really freaking awesome, that's it. So you guys can coalesce that into marketing language, okay? But I'll just sit here.
Let me get my notepad. Start from the top. Let's go back.
Yeah, let's go.
No, but I like it. Namaste, Allison. I mean, seeing you actually get it. I mean, I can't wait to see Victor do it, and I can sit here and laugh. I hope we can rename the pace bot in that instance to Jeff Ranker, so that Victor has to chase my avatar down while I am giving him trouble here in the commentary.
Ooh! Name your pace bot.
Yeah.
Ooh,
imagine the amount of people that are going to name it Frank Garcia just to say they beat Frank at his own game in a workout. I mean, I think that's going to be fun.
Oh, but you could, the other thing that's coming is PaceBot as leader. So, in a group ride right now today, if you were the leader, like this is what I would do. If I had a bunch of unequalized riders riding with me, is I would put myself as the leader and I would give like a 10-meter difference so that way they wouldn't fly off the front. So that's already built into the game. But one of the suggestions was like, oh, what if you made the PaceBot the leader so that you could never go past the PaceBot? Yeah, but I want to go past the pace bot because when I do a breakaway, when I'm practicing a breakaway, I actually need the visual stimulation of passing somebody. So I want to drop a quantum shift. I want to phase through the pace bot, and I want to break away. So I'd make that that distance a little different. But if you name the pace bot, I'm getting back to the point. If you name the pace bot Frank Garcia, you have to make sure the PaceBot is not the leader, or you will never be able to pass it. so make sure
someone's
you get
gonna
your
sit there and go, "This Frank Garcia." Someone's not gonna know it's a bot, so somebody's gonna sit there and go, "This Frank Garcia is so selfish. He doesn't let anyone past him. It's a workout, Frank. How dare you?"
How come no matter how hard I'm pushing 1,000 equalized watts and I can't get past that?
This is where Pierre
bot.
Valentine comes in for the first time again, thinking, "I'm gonna try classes for the first time. This is gonna be fun." And then Pierre is like, "This Frank guy again. He's telling me my caliber. I'm uncalibrated. It's not fun. I'm done. I'm out of here. Auf Wiedersehen." Too good. No. Classes, I'm excited. Sorry, Vic, wrong language, but I can't wait. I think it's gonna be fun to see. When the au revoir? I can't say it.
I have no idea. Like, let's not do it.
we're in too deep. Somebody, Ben Shuilong, who's actually French, is going to help us out. But classes, I think it's going to be epic. In the interest of keeping this short, let's go and chat a bit about the CVRcade World Cup team registration, because we've seen an influx of people on the platform. An email has gone out today letting people know that now is the time to register interest. Like, if you think about it, Vixen is in, Cognition in, Cycling Hub is in, Pink Panthers are in, possibly some CVR team without employees. I'm not sure what happens there. That really leaves 3 spots. And so an email has gone out saying that if you are not on a team, which a lot of newcomers aren't, like Wim isn't, Phil isn't, Guillermo wasn't either. So they now joined CVRcade Riders. What do we think the next team is going to be? Like, I know we briefly said what established teams last week do we want to see, but what do you think, Vic, is going to happen with someone like Wim? Wim, an established Swift racer, coming onto the platform now. Where does he go?
Cognition.
But he can't. You was made aware that you can be between 4 and 6.
No, I know.
He will probably still join Cognition.
yeah.
To be fair, though, Beth, you can't make that joke anymore. You just drafted Nigel Doyle.
Right.
And Peter Castro. And Peter. At this point, Vic, I think we've got to change the joke to Velocity Vixen. Beth brought it up.
Yeah, Vixen's just going to snap it. Like, this, so greedy. Gosh. Yeah, well, I think Cryo-Gen is a good shout. I mean, Tam, as we talked about before, seemed very enthusiastic about trying the platform. So getting into the next World Cup is like, yeah, exactly. It's the best place to, get your experience in and most likely win a lot of money if you're really good at it. So I think that's how you're going to get hooked once you've done the World Cup once and you realize, like, wait, I can race my bike and win money and what? Like, mind-blowing. I think Cryo-Gen, and hopefully then we will see like that tiny bit of snowball effect we talked about before, with more teams probably from Zwift, I guess, who will join. But yeah, it's really like up to debate who's going to join. I'm not really sure. I think the only one that I'm kind of sure of is Cryo-Gen, really. So I don't really know.
What about you, Beth? What, like, you see these? So Phil coming in, Wim coming in, Guillermo, those are the three big names. I've seen a Bell in there before. I've seen an Andre as well. Do you think they're going to go together and create a team? Because it took CCC like a long time before they got established.
Yeah, I think one of the things too, we talk about this in our own team too, sort of the cross-platform, right? When you know what we have always wanted to be with Team Velocity, open, it was formed by Wim, but it's a co-ed team. But we were like, okay, but now these other platforms, we have to make sure that our team is ready to onboard in these other platforms. And we're kind of still figuring that out too. Like, what does it mean? You race on one team. And when I came into CVRcade, the first thing we did were the captain leagues, and we were kind of just grouping up willy-nilly to kind of test out some things. So I think that if there's any preconceived notions of like, well, I race on this team over here, and kind of shed that out and be open to creating an experimental team, a team that maybe you've never raced with people before, and it's really quite fun because you get to know, again, the same thing, you get to know new people. So I would encourage them, if they're finding themselves like, hey, wait, there's 4 of us, we all seem to want to be doing this, make a team, do it, because I think you won't regret it. And I'm sure rosters will continue to change and evolve, but that would be really great. But I would love to see like PTZ come over and give it a try. That was my first team, so PTZ, if you're listening, ODZ, they seem to be a little less active. They used to do a lot of things, so maybe they're looking for something. I don't know. So
there's a big call happening. Like even WKG, like a massive, well, I say massive, they're a rather large team on Zwift. They've started riding on Road Grand Tours. Like there seems to be, like right now is the time to be a virtual cycling platform not named Zwift. Like there seems to be, now as the community's going, right, we've done this for 3 years. We've done it for 4. Honeymoon phase is over. I'm looking to get a divorce. Here's a hot new piece of, I want to get over there instead.
Wow.
And I mean, I'm just excited. I hope it's going to be good. But what about the team testing last night, Vic? You had the first time where top 3 scorers count. I know we haven't posted the results yet because we're having a bit of trouble getting the results from K&L, but what did you make of top 3 team scoring?
I think last night we didn't really see any difference in the way it was raced. I mean, I think still it was a great zone. Like K&L was still amazing because CVRcade racing is always going to be good. But I think the big issue is that we're already discussing about is kind of like you want to see like how the teams are doing. So kind of like the scoreboard, but for teams. Mm-hmm. Because right now it's kind of, you have to do the mental math yourself. And I can imagine for both of you as the commentators to do it while you're commentating is, very difficult. So I didn't really notice a big change. So I think we're going to have to do some more testing and probably implement that scoreboard, like the team scoreboard, so the commentary will be easier to understand what's going on. So not really too much of a difference, but yeah, that's my take on it.
Beth?
Yeah, well, I think we had racers, more Vixen Fox racers come out to, so right now it's just trying to get ourselves coordinated across the zones and stuff. So I think we did see some more team players, but to Vic's point, not being able to see the scoreboard, it's sort of like, oh, I crashed, I fell off the back. And, Ryan's in the chat saying, that's all right, Beth, you'll still grab some points for the team. So if we were able to see right now, when it's individual racing, you can see like, okay, if I finished in front of this person, if I pass this person, I can see if my points change. So I can start to say okay, you know what, I'm not going to be second in this race, but if I finish in front of this person, it's going to put me up in the leaderboard. So having that ability to do that real-time scoring is going to be helpful, not only for commentators, but for the racers to be like, that's all right. You know what? I've got 2 riders up at the front on this one. They're going to scoop up a ton of points. Next race will be, we blew it in this one. It'll be our turn to come up to the front. So those dynamics are going to change in the team car, and as well as what we see in the commentary. And we're listening to, like, I've got one ear on you, Jesper, and I've got one ear on my team. We're going like, am I picking up any clues? Because I'll take all the math help I can get. Yeah,
Oh,
no, I know, right?
Oh, that's not a good thing.
What does that say?
I'm getting better.
relying on your
It's getting
math.
easier once you learn kind of the swings and flows, because the scoring, like you can kind of pick it up after a while. But I think the next test that's going to be run is head-to-head racing. So this is like free-for-all. It's all the teams in one, potpourri, and just figuring out how does it fall. Now, I think the next test that the team is going to attempt is going to be head-to-head racing. So like if you watch proper esports, you've got 5 team members on one side of the stage, 5 on the other, and then they race against each other, or they play the game against each other. I think that's going to be the next one up. So you're going to see 4 members of Velocity Vixen versus 4 members of Cycling Hub in one zone. That's it. That's kind of like the bracketed session tournament where you were put together and you've got to race. Vic, head-to-head racing, how do you think that's going to unfold when you've just got 8 riders in there and top 3 score?
I mean, yeah, that's going to be really good, because I think the best piece of like racing we've seen is the bracket session tournament. I mean, that was just brilliant. And that was in the beginning, we had those like kind of head to head, as you said. So I think that racing is going to get brutal. It's going to be really fun for me to produce and watch at the same time. But as a racer, I can imagine it's going to get really spicy. I mean, imagine if one rider needs to finish in front of the other one and it's just block. I mean, that is going to happen. But I think the team, you're definitely going to know who's winning or losing. So I think on that front, it's a lot better. But I don't think, I mean, we haven't really seen this play out before. So I'm really interested to see how it will play out. But all I can say is that I'm expecting some, negative racing and some positive racing at the same time. So it's gonna, I mean, yeah, I'm just thinking about it right now. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be good. I think this test is gonna be really fun.
The offensive and defensive racing is the way that I like to say it. And
Maybe
it's funny because
nicer.
there was some defensive racing that happened yesterday that I was kind of chuckling about, and it really is a lot of fun because you have these opportunities, and I know that in Zone T, Nigel put a block on Frank on Lakeview Lanes, and I'm like trying to like poke at them and try to get them to trash talk each other, and
that feud is so good.
But everyone,
I love that one.
Everyone just agrees it's fun, right? And right now, but when the money's on the line, there's going to be heat, and it's going to be fun to see how that unfolds.
I think it's going to be, I personally feel, and I have a bit of a bias here because I in my head can't wait to see how it unfolds, because from the social media and hype perspective, imagine having a schedule, knowing that on this specific day, you're going up against this specific team. You've got a whole week, or you've got X amount of days to go. Right, here you've got the teams. Here's how they line up. Here are the stats. Here are the storylines. Here are the courses they're going to be on. Beth has been getting better, but she might be a bit sick from the cold she's had the other day. And again, Tim, he's got a toe infection, whatever. You don't know.
That's going to stop him. Don't think so.
Yeah. Tim will be pedaling with one leg, FYI.
He'll be pedaling with 9 toes. What is he going to do? Oh, my goodness. But I think from a whole story building perspective, and then you build up this hype, and then every week when the racing happens, you get this crescendo where it could be either incredibly amazing, like the best you've ever seen, and you get it week after week after week, or you come in and Cycling Hub put up Niels Heldens, Tim Fulford, Casey Sharman, Quinton Molyneux, and they just go, right, Cognition, are you going to give us any competition here, or are we just going to go sleepwalking into the night? So I personally feel like when we try it, I hope it works out, because from a hype point of view, from a marketing point of view, from a league setup point of view, imagine having like a leaderboard like Premier League, and you gain points and so on, and it all comes down to who beats who. And also, we get to see we get to see other teams in Cycling Hub perform at the top. Because you'd see Vixen versus Cognition. Beth, I honestly don't know who would win that. Like, that would be a super derby. I think this is the way. What do you think of those arguments, Vic?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I think the hype is really there for it. And I think also, if we look at it like an esports perspective, it's very like esporty with that. Maybe that's not a word, but you know what I mean. Kind of like these matchups you have in all the tournaments that like the CS:GO and League of Legends and Fortnite, whatever. It's more like team based. I think CS:GO is probably the number one I've seen personally. And you kind of have like your favorite team versus another team, and it's just like matchups. They work clearly. That's why like every single sport on the planet is pretty much based on it. And I think it's going to be really interesting. New dynamic. So I just hope for the sake of the platform that someone is at least going to attempt to dethrone Cycling Hub, because I mean, they're just so dominant. I feel maybe this is the way, but I don't know. Looking at how they race, I think a team thing, we've discussed it before, is just perfect for them. They're just gonna steamroll their way through to victory.
Ben and Timothy with that uncrashable power up, like Timothy in that moment. I have never seen Tim Fulford so salty. It was like he was a piece of steak and somebody has just gone like, more and more.
Bit too
tiny,
much.
Okay, a bit more. Like, I understand why he was frustrated, because like, Beth, you know it too, Ben knows it, to be singled out and get blocked when you feel like you've got the day, it's not always fun. But they outsmarted him in that moment. I think it could be, but as a racer, Beth, what do you think of that setup?
Well, I think the setup is great, and I'm just going to say one comment on the block, and like, you know, Ben did say it in the stream. He was probably the single most blocked rider on the platform, you know, in the last league, and Tim was probably the least, like, never blocked personally, but the amount of blocks that were happening on Tim's behalf in the chase pack, I can tell you how many times Quentin, Timothy, all of them blocked me, right? So like, you know, for Tim to get salty, I think it's hysterical. I think it is funny, because I'm just like, this, if this is what it brings up, if it breaks that stoic, well, you know, I just want another Omnium, whatever. So yeah, you know, 5,000 watts, and no one wasn't really working that hard. Blah 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 blah. Like, if it actually breaks that veneer, I am loving it. And like, even if they walk away with it.
In Tim's defense, he was probably the least amount of block, but it was not for the lack of trying. When Frank published his stats, people did try to block him. He just got out of the way. Sorry.
Well, you know what? I just love, this is what I mean. I just love the personalities that we have in play. And when we talk about teams going head to head as a racer, I can't wait. You know, like look at Nigel. He's out there and he's like, woohoo. And like, you know, last night we saw Casey crash on sudden lane change. And same thing, that veneer broke, you know, Casey sort of like elbowing people, laughing, haha, knocking on their, like, having a great time. And he had a crash and he was like, argh! He had a full on Kayla moment. Like, remember that crash that Kayla did?
Easily.
So that is what I hope the team league, I hope the team league sort of unearths that in the competitors, because what makes this racing not only fun for us as racers, but for viewers is for them to sort of feel the emotion, to connect with the racers, and all of us like feel it. I have felt as salty as Tim. I have felt as, you know, frustrated as Kayla. I have felt like all of those emotions. I have felt all of them. And yet, like, that's what makes it magical for me, because otherwise you're just pounding on the pedals and turning on Netflix and not paying attention. So
who knew that all you had to say to get Beth York fired up was blocking? Who knew that was the word?
The B word.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of my highlights. No, that was awesome, Beth. I love that. So I don't think we can possibly top that here in this talk show episode. So if you have enjoyed this talk show episode, no, easily, no, it's fine. No, whatever happens. It goes out to the interwebs. Thank you for watching. By the way, Tam, Garry, Wim, Guillermo, Phil, all the new people on the platform, thank you so much for being involved. Make sure to reach out to us if you have questions. Like, you are not alone in this experience. Everyone has been where you are. Everyone has been extremely frustrated at physical equalization the first time they try it. Everyone has had trouble installing the game at some point. Everyone has had difficulties with, you know, downloading the tracks. You are not alone. We have ways of solving these issues, but we've got to have you reaching out to us so we can help you. So On that note, everybody, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever. We'll be back on next Wednesday with another episode. But until then, we'll see ya.